I'm going to take a few minutes to show you weaving on TempoTreadle. This is what we call the system unit, and I know you can't see the screen in this video. We'll do some other videos with up-close shots of the screen. But the system unit has an SD card that goes into the bottom. On that SD card I can save my WIFs for my PC or Mac using any weaving software that I want. Here is where you see the power that's connected. It's USB power, so you can actually power it by a battery if you want. And you have this ribbon cable here that goes down the side of the loom and goes up under the treadles, and depending on your loom it can go in the front or the back. And the software is what you of course interact with that monitors your progress during weaving. So the first thing I do when I power up, now this is a project, it's a 45-inch wide baby blanket that I've got on the loom. So I have been weaving on it before, and last time I wove on it, TempoTreadle saved the sequence I was on, so I don't have to worry about writing anything down when I stop weaving. I'm going to load my WIF, and I've got quite a few weaving designs on here, so I'll load the one. It's loaded, and it tells me that I had left off at sequence 46. And you can either design your weaving so that the entire weaving sequence is in the WIF, or you can just do the repeating section. And in this case I've just done the repeating section, but it will handle several thousand sequences if you want to do the design like that. So I'm right now at 46 and it's calling for treadle 7. So I'm going to open my shed and throw the pick, and you heard that little beep. I've got this thing set right now to give me an OK beep when it's satisfied with that I've treadled correctly and it advances. You can either reduce the volume or turn the volume completely off of the OK beeps if you want. Now next it's calling for, this is a multi-petal WIF, and it's calling for treadle 6 and 11. And although you can't see it, it's detecting those and it's working. So I can just weave along here and really not worry too much that I've memorized it correctly or that I'm talking to and very distracted. You can kind of weave. It makes weaving actually very calming. It's very stress-free to do it this way, because you're not as worried about making a mistake. And you can weave as fast as you like. Of course, with this wide warp, I'm not going to weave terribly fast. And if I do make a mistake, let's make one right now. Okay, that was wrong. So notice it actually didn't buzz me with a mistake until after I lifted on the treadle. This is because on jack looms, when you're in the mode to support the traditional floor looms, the jack looms, since many treadles may go down at once on a jack loom, depending on which shafts are tied up to which treadles, it really can't do the error checking until you lift up, and it knows what your final shed was, which shafts were impacted, and then it can know whether it was right or wrong. So you will occasionally need to back out a pick. If I had gone ahead and thrown that pick, I would have had to unweave it and then throw the correct one and keep going. So if you're weaving on a countermarch loom, you can generally use a different mode that detects as soon as you open the shed. So you wouldn't, because on most countermarches only one treadle is going to go down at a time. You can't press multiple treadles at once because of the way the tie-up works on the countermarch. It also supports table loom mode, and table loom mode works a little different because you're throwing levers. So that's going to tell you in table loom mode when you have all the levers thrown correctly. So there's a lot of power in the software that runs this unit, and in fact if you buy TempoTreadle, you can do one system unit and even move it around to different looms if you have more than one loom. That's totally fine. What you generally do is the part which we call the sensor array that actually detects the treadles that were pushed or the levers, that is pretty much unique to every loom because there's so many different designs and sizes. That part does change. So it's a nice unit. There are other features within the software, if I want to know, for example, I want to know on this blanket how much I've woven. Well, I know that I've woven 14.2 inches on this blanket. Now, how does it know the length? It only knows it if I put in my picks per inch accurately. So what I usually do is I'll weave a few inches, and I'll take a measurement, and I can tell how many picks I've woven, because TempoTreadle knows that and tells me. So I can very easily, in fact, it does the calculation for me for the picks per inch. So I'll generally check it once or twice on a new warp, and then after that, I'm very confident that unless I changed how hard I was beating, it's going to be very accurate. That's another benefit. There are quite a few features, and our theme is, let's use this technology to help us weave more efficiently, more accurately, without mistakes. And it really does lower the stress of weaving. And weaving shouldn't be stressful, but sometimes we know that it can be. So this is one of those things that does certainly help you be assured that your trailing is totally accurate. There's some other efficiency features. One is for the threading. Since you've got your width in here anyway, we have some threading software that you can use while threading the loom if you like, where it'll advance in groups, whatever number you set, so that you can keep your place, and it remembers too. So if you get up and leave your loom or turn the power off or whatever, it knows where you were on threading. There's a tie-up function that helps you check your tie-up. There's functions that can help you with color changes. There are features that let you disable treadles. So pretty much anything we can think of that's either for efficiency or to make weaving more accurate is something that we've programmed into the software. So that's my overview for this evening of TempoTreadle weaving on my Maycomber, and now I'll get back to weaving my baby blankets.